Saint Simon. A brief biography. In the stately dull halls of the Parisian hotel, where the Counts of Saint-Simon spend the winter, and the village castle, where they come for the summer, portraits of their ancestors are hung in long rows. According to them, you can trace the entire history of this ancient family, which, according to historical annals, first advanced in 1470, and according to family legends, which is not confirmed by anything, but nothing is refuted, got its origin from Charlemagne himself, the founder of the Holy Roman Empire. Over time, these legends acquired the immutability of an axiom, and the face of the semi-legendary conqueror, darkened by time, headed the family gallery in order to always remind descendants of their rights to the French throne. These rights are now a dead letter. They were forgotten both by the population and the rulers of France, the Bourbons, who with an iron hand broke the old feudal nobility and deprived it of any independent political significance. The Saint Simons resigned themselves to fate and went into the service of the king, whose mercy now means much more than hereditary castles and military merit. The path to honor and wealth lies through the royal residence, Versailles, and no nobleman who wants to make a career for himself cannot escape this point. The Saint Simons also work there. The memory of a great ancestor does not prevent them from successfully passing the course of court science, bowing their heads low to the royal favorites and exquisite flattery, and sometimes with valuable gifts to win a place in the sun. In the late 17th and early 18th centuries, the Saint Simons occupied a prominent position among the court aristocracy and shone with the diversity of ability that is their hereditary trait. The Duke of Saint-Simon, one of the representatives of the senior line, having advanced on the battlefields, attracts the attention of Louis XIV, receives important posts, becomes a major diplomat. He is a confidant of the regent and even at the end of his days, under Louis XV, retains the reputation of an outstanding statesman. To top it all off, he is an outstanding and very prolific writer, who vividly reflected in his memoirs the customs and appearance of the era. After the Duke, a representative of the younger line, the Marquis of Saint-Simon, comes forward. It repeats all the talents of the Duke, but only to a weakened degree. He is also a warrior, a courtier, a diplomat, and a writer. But his successes in all these fields are average and only a little, by some half a head, elevate him above his contemporaries. Another junior line, the line of the Counts de Saint-Simon, did not manage to acquire even these modest laurels. Its head, Count Balthazar de Saint-Simon, Cavalier de Rouvroix, languishes in obscurity and cannot find a reliable path in the Versailles labyrinth that promises wealth and fame. Ancestral castles are not profitable, creditors are annoying, and the Count has to enter the service of a seedy potentate, the Polish king, as the head of the Polish Guards Brigade. But this service is an honorable fiction, the same fiction as the Polish Brigade itself, consisting of French soldiers and never leaving France. From His Majesty King Stanislav, Count Balthazar receives only 1,000 livres a year. In the French regiments, he fails to advance, and he retires only with the rank of captain. Nevertheless, Versailles connections are doing their job. Minister d'Argenson procured him a pension of 1,500 livres a year and the post of governor of the Senlis district. His salary, together with his pension, gives him about 6,000 livres a year, an income more than modest for the descendant of Emperor Charles. At the age of 37, Count Balthazar marries and, having added the family estate of his wife to his father's lands, firmly settles in his castle Berny, near the commune of Falvy, in the province of Picardy. Autumn and winter, according to the custom of all aristocrats, he spends in Paris. On October 17, 1760, a joyful event takes place. He will have a son, who was named Claude Henri at baptism. And from the very first birthday, this creature has the task of glorifying the younger lineage with deeds worthy of a great ancestor. If Count Balthazar could foresee the future, he would most likely strangle this bastard with his own hands, who would betray, in the future, his class and go to the camp of utopian socialists. Fortunately, the future is hidden from him. The child does not betray his criminal inclinations in any way, and on his rosy face, the father reads only what his own dreams suggest. His firstborn will be a wonderful warrior, and maybe a wonderful diplomat, or maybe both. Who knows if his star might even eclipse the glory of his great-uncle, the Duke of Saint-Simon. The boy is groomed and caressed, then drilled, then stuffed with sciences. According to the views of the 18th century, an educated nobleman should be something like a puff pastry with a wide variety of fillings, suitable for all tastes and any everyday situation. True to this principle, a father, cold and stern, who loves not so much his son as his loser's hopes, surrounds him with an atmosphere of troublesome and stupid solicitude. From morning to evening, a swarm of teachers swirls around the little man, driving all kinds of sciences into his head: arithmetic, geometry, Latin, heraldry, mythology, geography and history. Of course, neither dancing nor fencing has been forgotten. The abbot teaches the law of God, and the tutor hardens the body by getting up early and with cold soles. Teachers quickly replace one another, and with the same speed useful facts follow each other, remaining in the memory of poor Claude Henri without any order or sequence. This pedagogical carousel will not be in vain for the boy. When he grows up and becomes a philosopher, brilliant ideas will erupt from his head in the same chaotic fountain as school truths once poured into her. But Count Balthazar, who is poorly versed in pedagogical mechanics, is not embarrassed by this small flaw, hoping that God, who created a harmonious universe out of chaos, will be able to bring this pseudo-scientific mess someday into proper form. Count Balthazar only monitors the upbringing of his son from a distance and keeps Claude Henri at a respectful distance. It is the father's duty to make sure that the car spins and the teachers do not beat the thumbs up. The rest will be done by chance and providence. One would think that Count Balthazar is completely indifferent to his firstborn, if not for the probing glances that he occasionally throws at the growing boy. It seems like pride and like a threat shines through them. At first, the boy does not understand their meaning, but then he learns to translate them into a common language. These views say, "You must glorify our family. And if you don't glorify, look at me." And a vague feeling of either fear or expectation is born in the boy, a feeling that every year more and more turns into proud confidence. Father is right, Count Claude Henri is destined for the road of glory. He has a great goal to accomplish. Which one exactly? Count Balthazar is too busy with business, hunting and guests to expand on this topic in detail, but his table conversations and stories about court life make it clear what his aspirations are. Madame Countess is also too busy. She all went into prenatal and postnatal chores and prefers to devote free minutes not to fortune-telling about the future of her son, but to light high society chatter. From her, Claude Henri does not learn anything about his mission. Some hints on this score are given by the portraits of ancestors. Their important faces, their steel armor and richly embroidered camisoles tell the same tale, the tale of feats of arms, hunts, love stories and court intrigues. If nothing special happens, Claude Henri will have to go through the same noble path, exactly predetermined from the centuries. But the boy does not want this. He longs for something different, unusual and strange, something that neither papa nor mama knows about. And he himself is strange, unlike everyone else. He is stubborn, impetuous, bold, and the thought that has taken possession of him is not afraid to bring it to its extreme conclusions. One day he was bitten by a mad dog. Claude Henri immediately burned the bitten place with a burning coal and, day and night, began to carry a pistol with him in order to commit suicide at the first sign of rabies. With the same courage he will approach the questions that life will put before him. And this life is headstrong and painfully difficult. She drew her own circle around the young offspring of the St. Simon's house, much broader than family traditions and school wisdom. In that huge and polyphonic world that spreads outside the walls of his father's mansions, everything is completely different than in the palaces of Count Balthazar and his friends. There are no porcelain shepherdesses and shepherdesses, no sentimental idols that bring tears to sensitive marquises and countesses, no graceful witches playing with words like a magician with balls. There is nothing but sweaty peasants, painful labor, an intense struggle for every piece of bread and for every inch of the earth. The world has its own truth, which it whispers to little Henri every day. And little Henri listens, thinks and gradually gives his whole soul to the demon of doubt. Let us first see what he sees in his own environment.